Hello, BookTube. This is the Hindsight is 2020 reader tag. You've seen this one going around. I was originally tagged by Bill Rutenberg, who did it. Him and his daughter did the video. I enjoyed it very much. Very interesting to see each of their takes on it. So I'll link that down below. And then, so the original was created by Aaron Go Reed. And I've watched a few more of these, so it's always fun to hear what people have to say. So let's get right into it. So number one, what were you like as an early and learning reader? I've said this before, but I guess this is like my 583rd or 4th video, so it may have been a long time ago. I grew up on a small hill farm in Vermont. We did not, so this was been in the early 1960s. We did not have much in the way of the type of entertainment kids have now. We had a TV. We got one channel that wasn't even from our state. It was out of Manchester, New Hampshire. And my dad loved it because he could sometimes see the Red Sox games. And I remember hanging out the attic window, turning the antenna, and he'd scream, "Stop!" But by then, of course, I've already gone past it. So he let me hang out there, a couple stories above the ground, so he could watch his baseball game. So I did when I was younger get a little handheld radio. It had a little 9-volt battery in it. But yeah, it was mostly outdoors I spent my time. But inside, on those days when you had to be inside, we had a few books. So I did gravitate to those, and the usual things, little Plastic Army Men and all that stuff. But it really was magazines. So I got a subscription really young, and I was really into science and nature. To Rangerick magazine at one point, I remember, and then National Wildlife magazine, and National Geographic. Those types of things are what got me reading. I just loved it. Later on, it was Mark Twain with Tom Sawyer, eventually Huckleberry Finn, but mostly Tom Sawyer. And Robert Louis Stevenson, in Treasure Island, Kidnapped, that sort of thing. So we read what we could get our hands on, but so it was spotty. It was hit or miss, but I loved outdoors and adventure type stuff the most. What book or book series really got you excited about reading as a kid? Well, I remember my cousins had all the Hardy Boys, and I would read those. And my sister read Nancy Drew, and I would read all those. My favorite was The Three Investigators, Alfred Hitchcock. The Three Investigators, I loved those. I haven't seen those in years. Yeah, that's pretty much. My dad would leave Alistair McLean paperbacks hanging around. I'd read those. Loved them. Let's see. Number 3. Has there been a person in your life, real or fictional, who inspired you to be a reader? No, I remember being inspired by people. My family wasn't. My mom read pretty heavy. My dad, not so much. My dad's friend, Mr. Bigelow, who was a lawyer in town, I remember going to his house, and I actually had to walk through like canyons of books. They were everywhere. And I was pretty amazed by that. And he gave me a paperback. L. Sprague de Camp, an old science fiction writer, somebody will know who he was, wrote a book called The Ancient Engineers. And I remember getting that paperback and just devouring it more than once. So I think early on he was one of those people who really inspired me. Let's see, where am I at now? Did I skip one? No, I don't think so. No, that was right. Okay, at what point did you begin to identify as a reader? Probably would have been when I was maybe 12 or 13. It was the early 1970s. And I really, really hardcore got into science fiction. All the anthologies like Terry Carr and Damon Knight. The magazine anthologies. magazines themselves, analog and that sort of thing, and fantasy and science fiction magazine, which I love. And then the mass market paperback. So I start hunting them out, and you could find piles of them for nothing. I used to come home with bags full of the digest magazines for almost nothing. Kid money, you got paper route money. So I'd start lining them up, collecting them, make sure I had perfect covers. Um, so that was probably it when I really caught the science fiction bug. Okay. Da, 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 da. How has being a reader shaped your life and your worldview? Well, I'm a librarian, so it's obviously shaped my life, but I haven't always been a librarian. Um, my views, I mean, it's widened my horizons, right? I get to live different lives. It did make me go into the Coast Guard because I read a lot of nautical books. I started reading Hammond Innes, sort of an adventure, an Alistair MacLean type of writer from Great Britain who I really liked. So, they books led me on my choice as a career. Did the same thing with archaeology when I did that. C.W. Serum's Gods, Graves, and Scholars with the book. But eventually I became a librarian because that's what fit the most, right? But so yeah, it's had a huge impact on my life and my finances. Okay. Tag someone who's reading history you want to learn more about. I think almost everybody. Jeez, I'm trying to think who else. I don't know if Ernest Lee Eston's done this. Todd the Librarian would be a good one. Dane Cobain at Dane Reads. I think that's still the name of his channel. He'd be a good one to do this. So yeah, I'll do those and remembered reads from the Dusty Bookshelf. Yeah, the list could go on and on. I mean, the people I watch. So, but I don't know who's done it, so I'm sort of flying random here. So anyway, that was an excellent tag. Thank you, Bill Rutenberg, and I hope everyone has a good day. Thank you, BookTube.